Hello my friends who are listening to Ebird Online, and I'm back with another review. So we're going to be talking about the biggest catfish that 90 Day Fiance has known since Williams. That's Tyray and Carmella. Yes, that's right, it's 90 Day Fiance, Season 6, Episode 5. So the question I'm going to be asking this week is, firstly, what did Tyray know and when? And secondly, why, when there's incontrovertible evidence from producers and his sister to suggest that Carmella is actually a man, is Tyray refusing to believe what's in front of his face? When we first met him, he pretended he believed in Carmella, and the first time he had any inkling that she wasn't real was when production told him.
It's been a really hard couple of days because the producers are telling me that my girlfriend Carmella is actually a man named Christian and that he had been catfishing me for the past 4 years. They played some audio of his voice and I couldn't even listen to the whole thing. It was just too painful.
But there's more than just a soupçon of evidence that Tyray pretty much knew something was amiss. And then also, even if he didn't know before, why is it when everybody, including Carmella, is telling him that she's not Carmella, does he still want to hold on to the fact that, well, it might still be a woman, and she might still actually love me? I do so desperately want to feel sorry for Tyray, but, well, he's ebbing away at my ability to do so with his idiocy. But guys, before we get into this video, to everyone who's subscribed to the channel, thank you so much for your support, it really does mean a lot. But if you've yet to do so, consider subscribing. Come on, it's fun over here. And also, if you enjoy the video, please don't forget to smash the like button. Also, please share this video to anyone you think might enjoy the Ebird sarcasm. Thanks guys. Right, so without further ado, I give you Tyray and Carmella. Christian. So as we know, production first told Tyray in the very first episode that Carmella was actually Christian and that it was a man. The producer actually said, I've spoken to Christian, and he says he's not who he's been pretending to be.
We have a recording of him talking to one of our producers that I can play for you if you want. We also have a message that the person sent to us, how they feel about what they've done. I can show that to you.
And Tyray actually says to the producer, I don't think I can handle it right now. But to me this is unequivocal evidence that he's allowed to listen to that Carmella doesn't exist. But as we see, Tyray still wants to live in doubt and hope, and the only way he can do so at the moment is by refusing to listen to the recording. So then he goes back inside, he sits on his sofa, and he's mulling it all over, and he explains to production that the way they chatted was so deep that he finds it hard to believe that it's not all true. But then he goes on to say, I know all about computers and it's really weird, I'm really disappointed with myself. I know about catfishing, but I just never thought it would happen to me. Guys, he knows this is happening, he knows it's real. But he's just oscillating between tacitly admitting that it's real and that it's Christian, but then virtually in the same breath saying it can't not be real, it must be Carmella. Guys, this must be a case of cognitive dissonance. And so for those of you who don't know, cognitive dissonance is a mental conflict that occurs when your beliefs don't line up with your actions. And I think the particular type of cognitive dissonance that's occurring here is called dissonance due to inconsistency between commitment and information. And so this occurs when we commit a belief, value or ideal, having what we think is all of the information, and then new information contradicts the commitment that we've made into a belief. So in other words, Tyray's put so much love and effort and money into this relationship, he's allowing himself to contradict what he knows to be the case, i.e. Carmella doesn't exist. And so what are some of his justifications? Well, the first one was this.
I didn't think someone was trying to play me because I wasn't sending thousands of dollars or anything like that. It was just a little bit.
And so according to Tyray, he only sent her $50 to $100 a month. And really the inference here is, well, because she wasn't making loads of money, why would she be lying? Tyray, to a poor person, that might be lots of money. And even if she's not poor, some money is more than no money whatsoever. And also, a lot of people who catfish don't necessarily do it for money. Some people do it just for a sense of escapism, or the feeling of power they have over the other person. Often it's to gain explicit images, and it can also be loneliness. Some people genuinely have nobody to speak to. Another very interesting reason that I've discovered since I've been researching this is gender identity. Quite often, men will speak to other men because that's their only way of having, how can I say, a pseudo same-sex relationship. So yeah, money's not the only reason that people might catfish. But by the end of the segment, we're back where we started.
I had a connection with the actual person, so I still feel that connection. I still have a glimmer of hope that maybe it was just someone else who had her phone or something. Maybe she was hacked. I don't know.
Guys, he's got it bad. He's got it real bad. But guys, I pretty much think that Tyreek inherited his critical thinking skills from the cat next door. Oh dear. And to top it all off, he says he's going to contact Carmella the next day. Guys, I can't. It's Christian! Tyray, it's Christian! And you know it is. And so next time we catch up with Tyray, he's going off to meet his brother and sister to let them know everything that's happened. Finally! This should have happened 4 years ago. And they go to a little coffee shop and they sit down, and Tyray tells production that he tries to be the man of the family and that he usually keeps his personal life to himself. And he really doesn't want to bother the family with all of his problems. And he says he hopes they'll be understanding. Tyray, if you can forgive your brother's hair, they should be able to forgive you everything. The 1980s have called. They want their hairstyle back. So he sits down and tells Ronald and Lashanti everything that's been happening.
Man, I don't even know where to start.
Start from the beginning.
Well, I'm in an international relationship, and I've been in it for 4 years.
What? Oh, Tyray, come on now, Tyray. You are not in an international relationship. You don't know where he is. You've been being scammed and catfished for 4 years. Just tell them straight. There's literally no point in doing this if you're going to bullshit. Her name's Carmella. Bullcrap. She's from Barbados. Bullcrap. It was the next thing that Tyray said that had all of the, I don't know, pity that I had for him dissipate. Guys, it left my body. He told us he went to Barbados to meet her, and it was during COVID, so he had to quarantine. He was in his hotel for 3 days, and after the 3 days, when he was allowed to see her, she totally ghosted him. What? Yep. So he never actually saw her, and then when he got home, she blamed the whole thing on COVID. I knew who was going to say that, guys. How bloody convenient. But this torrid tale right here tells me that when production told him, we don't think Carmella's who we say she is, he already knew. He'd already been to Barbados, and he'd already been stood up. And this is where the cognitive dissonance, I think, steps in once more, because he was able to say, well, she couldn't call me because of COVID. What, she doesn't have any family or anybody else that could have responded to you? Highly, highly unlikely. But in the world of Tyray, the most logical conclusion. Guys, NASA hasn't even found the planet that Tyray's head's on. And then finally, he lets them know that production say, Carmella's not real, Carmella's a man. And he said, I just don't know what to do next. And so he finally tells them that he has a recording. And his sister took a hold of his hand. And she said, we're here to support you. I think you should listen to it. About time too.
How are you? I'm good, thank you.
Right.
Thank you so much for answering.
Oh, you're welcome.
So, what is your...
Sorry, it's okay.
I'm Christian.
Christian, okay.
And so upon hearing Christian's dulcet tones, Tyray got up and ran out. Well, walked out. His sister got up and ran after him. And she gave him a hug and said, it's okay not to be okay. She's right, it is okay not to be okay. But it's not okay to be in complete and utter denial for so long. So the next time we see Tyray, he meets up with his sister Lashanti in a park. Thankfully, Lashanti's not here for the bullshit, and she asked Tyray very bluntly, do you still think that Carmella could be real? And Tyray said, I don't know what to think. Oh, Tyray, you do know what to think. It's Christian, not Carmella. But I'm very glad that his sister doesn't seem to be pulling any punches. But unfortunately, it would seem that Tyray's brain is still leaking. Because he said, well, yeah, because she hasn't deleted me on Snapchat. Guys, is Snapchat still a thing? And then he said to production, there's somebody behind those messages that I've got a real relationship with. Yes, Tyray, we know, and here's more than likely who it is. And so then his sister said, well, do you know what? I'm going to reverse search the pictures. And she said, it's the first thing I would have done. Yes, we know. That's why he didn't tell any of his siblings for 4 years.
I suggested that we reverse image search because usually when you put somebody's picture in the search engine, all the social media that they have pops up. It's weird that he didn't already search her pictures himself anyways, because that's the first thing I would have did. I know Tyray is feeling hurt. I know he's embarrassed, but I just want to move forward.
And when they search, they find, well, absolutely zilch. Inexplicably, there's no trace of Carmella anywhere on the internet. But thanks to production, there's a text message from Christian, and Tyray says he hasn't seen it, and straight away his sister said, right, we need to see this. And guys, here's what it says. Hi, I cannot call you because I am not the girl in the photos. I know it's shitty that I've not been honest with Tyray. I've been lying to him for almost 5 years. At first it was a way to get money, since most of us here are poor. But I did start liking him. But I can't be with him. I feel so bad because I really needed money. I'm sorry, I do love him, but I can't be with him. Guys, maybe he is exploring his sexuality. Who knows? But guys, this is where the catfisher, I think, has been quite clever. Because he still says at the end, I still do love him, but I can't be with him. And so he's still, I think, dangling that carrot because he knows that even though production are onto him, Tyray's still totally invested. And I think Christian believes that with the right words and if we can get rid of production and TLC and the Ebird, he can once again reel Tyray in and possibly get money from him. And almost as if to prove me right, Tyray says the following.
I'm like even more confused now because it's like it's saying two things. Like I can't be with him, but then at the same time, I love him. So it's just like, I don't know. There has to be some truth to something in there. So
you feel like this person loves you?
They're saying the right things, that's for sure.
And Lashanti asks him, so what now? And he said, well, I think I'm going to give it a few more days. And she said, but why? And she's a better woman than me, because by this point I'd be exasperated. What I think Tyray needs is intervention from a psychotherapist. And no, I'm not diagnosing him with anything. But I think he needs somebody to actually sit and break everything down and also break down the psychology of a catfisher to him so he understands exactly what the other person is getting from this. And also how this catfisher has managed to reel Tyray in so easily.
You don't think you want to block her?
I'm going to give it a few more days.
I mean, after reading that email, it's kind of clear what's happening here. I just don't know why it's not getting through to Tyray.
But guess what? It's really not getting through because when we met up with him last week, he's still telling production, I still think there could be some sort of mistake. Yep, there is some sort of mistake, Tyray. We mistook you for having some sort of a brain. This is now getting quite monotonous and quite ridiculous. So he meets up with his sister once again, and they're in some sort of market, and Tyray's got yet another reason for why Carmella might not really be Christian, and why she hasn't been answering his most recent Snapchats.
But I was also maybe thinking, like, what if, like, Carmella was, like, in prison or something? And
Seriously.
I know, it sounds crazy.
I'm sorry, I don't want to laugh, but seriously, I really want to shake you just to knock some sense into your head.
But
she's not in prison.
Yes, guys, you did hear that right. He thinks Carmella may have been in prison and that she may have needed a pen pal. But now she's got out and she's back with her husband and now she's unable to meet me. And Tyray's just making this up like some sort of, I don't know, fairy tale. And at this point, Lashanti cannot believe what's coming out of her brother's mouth. He's literally making up the most fantastical stories, and it's shocking to me that he's not embarrassed to say this shit out loud. But guys, do you notice one thing? He's not given any reason as to why Carmella might be pretending to be a man and might be telling production she's a man and actually has the voice of a man. Why might that be? She could still be catfishing as a woman. Why would she say she's a man? Oh, but then again, I suppose it might be because she's a man. So anyway, the couple sit down and have a drink. And Lashanti's been doing some of her own research. She's been looking at escort sites and she's discovered multiple accounts for Carmella. Most of the sites are in America and some of them in California. So guys, it seems that this person is an American, not even in Barbados. Whoop, sorry Lagos. You do seem to get the blame for everything, don't you? And Lashanti tells him, I've got a phone number here, do you want to call it? And Tyray once more jumped up and he ran off. Well, I guess walked off, but yes, once more, he didn't want to confront any part of the truth. And so guys, that's where we leave things for this week. So guys, I'd love to hear what you make of all of this in comments below. I think there's only really one way now, outside of psychiatry, to get through to Tyray that this whole thing has been one big catfish. And that is to try and track down this Christian, or at least get a video chat with this Christian and have him say, yes, I'm Carmella, I made up this whole profile, I'm lying, and I'm simply making money from you. But if I were his siblings, I'd try and track him down anyway. And I'd try and threaten him and say, if you take any more money from my brother, I will pursue you legally. It's maybe not a crime, but if nothing else, they could certainly try and pursue him through civil court if he's in the US. I think that might be more than enough to make sure that he just doesn't contact Tyray again. But I think Tyray probably should see a psychotherapist to ensure that he doesn't get into the same trap yet again. It seems to me that he wants to live in La La Land, and life's shinier and rosier and better with his rose-tinted spectacles on. And it's going to be difficult for him to face life with nothing or very little to look forward to, and that's what I think they need to focus on. But yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys think, so let me know in comments down below, and I'm going to get on with my next video. Guys, thank you to everyone who's subscribed to me. I really do appreciate it, and thanks for all the great comments. If you haven't subscribed yet, please think about doing so and smash that like button. You've been listening to Ebird Online, and I bid you good day.